Welcome, melanated merry millionaires and friends, to another amazing episode. This time we got a special guest who's about to drop some gems and help y'all secure the bag. Make sure y'all join the conversation by going to the
m4show.com.
Yes, ma'am. And of course, make sure y'all follow us on Instagram at
The M4 Show.
Queen. Should they like and subscribe or something?
Most definitely. You should definitely go do that, like right now.
Yes, make sure y'all like and subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you are listening to this episode. We appreciate you. It's free, so go ahead and do it. And it is your first move on being a millionaire. Now, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Let's introduce our guest for today. Look, our guest for today is a certified public accountant out here helping people save money on their taxes and make sure they're not making mistakes in business structure. Very excited to introduce y'all to her in a second. But Queen, before we get into the episode, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well.
Doing pretty well. Okay. Are you ready to hit people with a did you know for the day? You ready to drop some nuggets before we drop some gems?
Ooh, okay. Yeah. I'm ready. I'm gonna recycle this one. I'm gonna recycle probably a couple of them now that we've rebranded. I've got a lot that you all probably have not heard yet. So I'm gonna remix an old did you know, but a good one. I just told this to one of my clients. But did you know that walking is a great fat burning exercise? Walking is underrated. I know that sometimes we don't always think of walking even as exercise, but our bodies were meant to walk. And the cool thing about walking is that it doesn't require so much energy that our body goes to produce its own glucose. When we do things like sprinting and high intensity exercises, our body needs more energy, so it actually, part of the stress response is increasing our blood sugar so that we have more energy to use. But walking, it's mellow exercise, so our body does not automatically increase shut up, increase our glucose. But long story short, what that means is that we're able to actually burn fat while we're walking. So that's why it's a great fat burning exercise. So take a walk. It's like 20 minutes in the morning before you eat breakfast, and that'll be a great way for you to burn fat.
Beautiful. I'm gonna try not to continue making fun of the increase. It was great. I appreciate you. You're so adorable, Sinclair.
Adorable.
Adorable.
What was the other thing I said? Oh, another level.
Another level. All right. Another level. But thank y'all for tapping in with us. Something that I think is very important, right? And I'm not tying it into walking per se today. But something that I think is important is I think right here, every couple, every married couple, every family should have a business.
You have made that stance.
I've made that stance. I stand by it strongly. I'll ask our guests if they agree, but I think every family should have a business, LLC, sole proprietorship, corporation, nonprofit, foundation, family trust. I don't care what the structure is. I think you should have some formal business structure or entity structure with your family. And with that, you should also know the specific tax deductions or general tax deductions that are available for you to maximize that business and how much you can get back. That's my opinion. Let me know what y'all think. Okay. But today,
before we get into it,
yes.
Before we get it, you weren't going to say anything about your fantastic hairdo? Ding. Ding. If you're just listening, you have to go and check out the YouTube because the king he's been on his lock journey and he got his first style today. He looks so handsome.
Thank you, Queen. Thank you,
Queen. So fine.
It's a huge step forward for me doing my hair.
Yes.
It was beautiful though. But yes, thank you, Queen. I am looking very, very chocolate and very delicious, if I don't say so myself.
I concur.
Thank you for that. Now, getting back to the scheduled programming, we do have Marjorie going to join us today. Again, certified public accountant who can talk to us about tax deductions, business structures, way to pay yourself through your LLC or S corp, and maybe just talk about some just general mistakes. I know we've made some mistakes going through our process, and hopefully we can help save you all some money, some heartache, and some tears. And some tears in the process. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. Again, welcome to the M4 Melanated Merry Millionaires in the Making show. Queen, are you ready?
I am ready.
Cool. Without further ado, let's Get into the episode. Over 50% of Black Americans are unmarried, and only 2% of Black families in America have a net worth over $1 million.
We are on our journey to not only join that 2%, but grow that 2%.
Facts. I'm Devon Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game, with my beautiful co-host.
I'm Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd.
And welcome to the M4 Show. Let's bring her in. Bring her in. What's going on, Miss Marjorie?
How are you guys doing? You guys are just too cute. I love it.
Thank you.
Come on with the compliments coming on in. We appreciate that.
I love it. I love it.
Yes, ma'am. So first off, before we hop into it, we got somehow connected. I forgot which post I put on there. Maybe you commented on it, but we got connected in that Black Riverside County group me, which is our Facebook group, which is an amazing group. Do you get like a lot of random shout outs or referrals from that group?
I am not real visible in the Black Riverside County Facebook group because I don't make myself visible. Not sure why, but I don't really make myself visible. I kind of comment on different things, but I don't always make it known that I'm a CPA. Something that I'm working on. I do get a lot of referrals from San Diego, though. So San Diego has a Black San Diego, I think it's Black San Diego County Facebook group, and so I have a lot of family in San Diego, and so they tend to shout me out a lot. So it's more them than me. But yeah, but I'll work on doing that. So yeah.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you commenting on our post. I think I was asking, like, how do you pay yourself from an LLC or something like that? And you went ahead and you dropped some wisdom and you said you'd be willing to come on. So, boom, now we are here. So for the folks that, may be just getting introduced to you, do you mind giving a short introduction about maybe how long you've been in the CPA game and your favorite meal?
My favorite meal.
Yes, because we're foodies over here.
Okay, that's a good one. So I am, I've been a CPA since 2007. Been in Inland Empire since 2000. So, like I said, from San Diego, born and raised in San Diego, attended San Diego State University, moved up here when I got married. My husband had a home in Lake Elsinore, so I moved up here. Prices were good, or all that stuff. So moved up here, and so I've been in public accounting since 2000, actually 2003, but I became licensed in 2007. So I've worked with a lot of different small businesses, larger businesses. I worked in public accounting at a firm. Most recently, December of 2020, I went out on my own. So I have my own firm.
Nice.
Work from home primarily, have a lot of virtual clients nationwide. And but I work with all different type of clients when I was in public accounting. So partnerships, corporations, S corps, individuals with high net worth, just a lot of different things. And in December 2020, during the pandemic, I decided, well, after the pandemic and seeing a lot of individuals starting businesses, making a lot of money in the stock market, I just began to cringe, because when you have a large sum of money compared to in 1 year compared to the previous year, you're going to have to pay a lot of taxes. And if you don't plan for that accordingly, you're going to be, it's going to be a big surprise. So at that point, I started, I created a couple courses. I started my business and just went on Instagram and started educating individuals on what to do as a small business owner.
Love that.
Love the journey. You did, sprinkle in them that you are married, so love the love as well. Shout out to you and the hubby. So something that I said at the beginning that I think you're going to agree with based on this story that you just said is, I think every family should have a business, right? Again, and any type of business, LLC, S corp, corporation, etc. As a CPA and someone who believes in entrepreneurship, possibly in building wealth, What's your stance on that statement? Just no pressure.
I can say that I think that everyone should have a business. I will say multiple streams of income. So multiple streams of income would be a business, right? It could be a business. One of those streams could be a business. Having your own business affords a lot of different opportunities for building wealth, building generational wealth, right? Because you can have a business and you can pass it on to your children compared to having a job and not being able to pass that on. So, yes, I believe that every family should have a business, but I also want them to have the business and run their business like a business. So you can't just start a business and just kind of be nilly-willy with it. You need to run your business like a business. Take your time, set up your business correctly, make sure that you're being compliant with the tax laws, make sure that you're being educated on the tax laws and you know, tracking your income and expenses and just doing the things to run your business like a business.
Yep. That's necessary. And I feel like for a lot of folks, when they start out, they may not have all that stuff figured out, but I think it's important. One of the important first steps to get that structure, for your business. Speaking of structure, can you quickly go over like what are the kind of the main different business structures?
Yeah.
So the main business structures, which one of the one that everyone knows is an LLC, right? So you hear that taught, you hear everyone say it, you know, form an LLC, form an LLC, form an LLC. An LLC, it's good for certain types of businesses. It's not good for every type of business. So that it's important that you formed an entity so you can establish yourself as a business, but you also need to know how that LLC is going to be taxed. And we can talk about that. So then there's an LLC, there's a corporation, there's a C corporation, there's an S corporation, and there are partnerships. So all of those entities are taxed differently. So it's important to know how that entity is going to be taxed. An LLC, like I said, most people say it, but an LLC is a disregarded entity. So if I was to go and form an LLC, a single member LLC, just me, it's disregarded for federal purposes. So it's just like it's a sole proprietorship. So I report that on my individual tax return, but then in California, I still have to file a California return for the entity and pay that $800 tax too.
Every year, right?
Every year as an LLC. But for we're in 2022. So 2022 and 2023, if you form an LLC in California, you don't have to pay that first year $800. So for someone who's looking to form a business, an entity, you know, that's a good thing to know. So
do you know, is it something where you have to pay it back later? Is it like a deferment, or it's like waived for the first year?
It's waived for the first year in California for these years. Yeah. So it's 21, 22, and 23. Yeah.
Nice. So there you go. If you're looking to start an LLC, these next few years are going to be the year to do it. Go ahead and save yourself $800. Now, other than LLC, right? What might be another good structure for a married couple, right? So me and the queen, we want to start a business, t-shirt business, health coaching business, pool cleaning business, whatever it is. What's another business structure we may want to look into?
So the other business structures are S corporations, which is a pass-through entity. So the S corporation is considered a separate entity, but the income still flows through on your individual tax return. But there are different advantages to having an S corporation. And I'm feeling as though we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit later. So I just want to just leave that. And then a C corporation, which is a totally separate entity. It doesn't pass through. All of the taxes are paid by the C corporation. And then you have a partnership. California is a community property state. So everything is divided between the two of you. So if you're a partner, if you and your wife are partners, everything is it's still going to flow through to the individual return. So it's like it really doesn't make any difference to file it as a partnership in California. But keep in mind that, you know, you form your entity for the liability protection, right? And then also to have it be recognized as a formal entity. So, you know, you form your entity, then you can apply for business credit. You can get your business checking account. You can do different things. And, you know, so that's one of the reasons for forming an entity. But then once you get your entity, it's like you want you want to make sure you have that conversation with someone before you just go out and form an entity. So for instance, if you're out there and you're purchasing real estate, any CPA will tell you don't put real estate in a corporation. Mm-hmm. And the reason for that are there are additional taxes that you're going to pay on it as the property increases, or when you sell the property once it's increased in value. So they would recommend that you put it in an LLC, right? So that would be one thing to consider. But you also have to look at how you're going to be paid, if you're going to be paid, if your company is making enough money to pay you a salary, if you're willing to do the different things that you need to do in order to keep minutes, have meetings, file just the different reports, so there are different things to think about as you're forming your entity and running your business.
Yes, that I think that leads to the question that I asked on Facebook beautifully, right? You're good at this. I see you. You're good at this. So the question that I put on Facebook was, what's the best way to pay yourself from your small business? Whether it is an LLC, S corp, corporation. So wanted to run that question by you again. You did give a good answer on the Facebook for the folks that aren't in that group. You can just give again your pros and cons of paying yourself in the different structures.
So when you say there's a difference between paying yourself and taking money out of your business, right?
Okay.
So if you are a single member LLC, okay, it's a disregarded entity, you cannot be an employee of your LLC, but you can take money out of your business as a draw. One of the things with the single member LLC is that you pay self-employment taxes on the net income of your business. When you file your individual tax return, that goes on your Schedule C. And then in addition to the tax that you pay on the total income, on your return, you'll also pay self-employment tax. So if it's $100,000 of net income, you're going to pay an additional $15,000 in self-employment tax. Gotcha. So you can't pay yourself out of an LLC. You cannot pay yourself out of a partnership, right? Because you cannot be an employee. You can take guaranteed payments out of a partnership, but you can't receive a paycheck. You can pay yourself out of an S corporation or a C corporation. So one of the requirements for being an S corporation is that you have to take a reasonable compensation. There's no magic calculation for reasonable compensation. It's what would be reasonable for someone that is performing the services that you're performing for your business. And it's required for an S corporation. So with an S corporation, you're going to pay the reasonable compensation, but the self-employment taxes that you would pay for a sole proprietorship, you won't have to pay that because it's paid in a different way. So you're an employee of your company. The employer is going to pay 7.65% of the self-employment tax. And then you as an employee are going to pay the other 7.65%. So it's just a way for you're still paying it, but you're paying it in a different way.
Yeah, Professor, I have a question. I'm like, we are going into class right now. And I see a few people watching live. If y'all have any questions for our guest Marjorie here, feel free to put it in the comments, whether you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook. And we were putting her website down here. Queen, go ahead and read that website for me, please.
Marjorie, is it McPike?
Marjorie L. McPike, CPA.
L. McPike. I forgot the L.
CPA.com. There you go. I had to ask my wife because she has better eyes than I do. Make sure y'all go ahead and tap into the resources that she has. So my question is there a difference in the self-employment tax or just the approach that you would give for a couple or a person who has a 9-to-5 and has a side business versus a person who only has their own business? Hopefully that makes sense. If not, I can try to say it in a different way. Oh, should I take a sip of water for that? It's getting serious. It's getting serious, y'all.
So it's a person who has their own business, a person who you and your wife in a company, person who's employee. Yeah. Excuse me.
Bless you. Bless you.
Look at it like this. When you become a corporation, you're a business, right? So it's just like you're working for anybody else. You are an employer. You're going to pay employer taxes. If you have an S corporation, you can set up a 401k plan. You, as an employee of your S corporation, can contribute to that 401k plan, right? Mm-hmm. You, as an employer of that corporation, can match that contribution, right? And all of these are different ways that you can reduce your tax liability. So if you're a single person, so there are people that are out there that are S corporations and it's just them. Mm-hmm. But they still have to pay themselves a salary. They can still set up a 401k. There are couples that are S corporation. You can do the same thing. Mm-hmm. So
I like that.
I answer that one?
You did. I like that. I think the major value for me is that 401k, to be able to set up your own retirement plan through your company and give that to yourself, to your partner and other employees. I think that's an incredibly powerful tool, personally.
Right. Yeah. And then think about it too, that you're an employee of your company, your corporation, right? Mm-hmm. You're contributing to your 401k, which reduces your taxable income, right? Because you're going to get a W-2 from your business. But if you're right, because you're an employee of your company, mm-hmm. So your company is going to issue you a W-2. But if you're putting away money into your 401k, you're reducing your taxable income
from the corporation itself.
From the corporation, right? Because you have a salary that you're deducting, and then you're contributing to the 401k. So like it's, you know how you do things that are pre-tax, right? Mm-hmm. So it's making that box one less because you're putting it in your 401k.
Nice. And for folks that don't know about 401ks, just a brief overview. I know they're retirement plans, but if you can just give a brief overview of what a 401k is.
It's a retirement plan that your employer offers to you, and you can put away tax dollars. It's pre-tax dollars. So you don't pay tax on those dollars when you contribute them. So it reduces your wages. So say, for instance, if you have a salary of $50,000 and you put $10,000 into your 401k every year, then your taxable income is the $40,000.
Nice.
But then when you take the money out later, you pay the tax on it.
There it is. Thank you very much. Queen, go ahead. My bad.
You jumped in there. So earlier you talked about how paying yourself can lower your tax liability. That brings up like tax deductions, which we've talked about a little bit here. And then that's kind of like a hot topic, especially when we've talked about it a lot on the show about one of the benefits of having a business is to have tax deductions. But I want to know from your opinion, one, what is a tax deduction, just so that we can level the playing field, make sure everybody knows what we're talking about when we say that. Mm-hmm. But also, like, what is your opinion on, are they good or bad, or what are some pros and cons of having, of writing off and having tax deductions?
Well, so tax deductions are, they're going to reduce, they're things that you can deduct that will reduce your taxable income. You have those both in a business, and then you have on an individual side. So on your individual tax return, you have deductions that you can take that will reduce your taxable income. So things like mortgage interest, property taxes, charitable compensation, or charitable contributions, medical expenses, even though most people don't qualify for the medical expenses because it has to be over 7.5% of your AGI. But those are deductions, on an individual side where it's between your itemized and standard deduction, right? So you go through and you're calculating your income, your taxable income, and then you deduct that amount. So like for a married couple, it's like 25,000, I think 25,001 for this year. If your itemized deductions are more than that amount, you get to take the higher of the two. Okay. And then that's how you come up with your taxable income. For businesses, business tax deductions are anything that's ordinary and necessary for your business. Okay. So different businesses have different expenses. I may have computer, software expenses. You may have book expenses. Some people may have, vehicle expenses because they have big tractor trailers that they use in their business, right? But anything that is ordinary and necessary for your business would be considered a business deduction. And what that does is it reduces your business income, because you're going to pay tax on the net amount. The income minus your deductions that's going to be the amount that you're going to pay tax on. So yes, it's good to have business deductions, but you also want to look at are your business deductions in line with your business, and are you making money in your business, right? We don't just want to have a business to have the deductions. And then not just that, but you want to make sure that I guess I can kind of go into the G-Wagon thing. So there are certain ways that you can have different deductions in order to help to reduce your taxable income. You know, different things like bonus depreciation, Section 179 depreciation, but you also have to have the income to support those deductions. So those are things that come along with tax planning, right? So if you are a business owner, you know, you should be tracking your income and expenses on a daily, monthly basis, reviewing that and meeting with your CPA or tax preparer to see where you are in your business, what deductions you have, if there's something else that you need to do before the end of the year or during this year in order to help to reduce your taxable income.
All right, we're going to get back to the episode in a second, but breathe. If you've ever had a brilliant idea, I'm pretty sure everybody just took a breath right there, right? Because we all have amazing ideas, but I got a question for you. What's stopping you from taking that idea and actually making it into a business, actually executing on your brilliance? My name is Devon Truvel, and in 2018, I was able to create, market, and sell my own product while still working a 9 to 5. And through the years, I've taken the lessons we've learned, the expensive webinars that I've gone to, and the dozens of business books that I've read, and I've discovered 7 simple steps to launch your business. If you're ready to take your business idea to the next level and make it real and start making profit from your passion, head to www.launchitcommunity.com and grab yourself the book. We've been able to make it very simple, affordable, and easier than ever to start that business while still working your 9 to 5. And we take entrepreneurs every single Friday and we talk to them. We teach them about how to use social media. We teach them about how to set up their Instagram account, how to use Shopify, how to use Printful, and other tools that can help you take your business to the next level, but not take tons of time away from your 9 to 5 and your busy life that you already have. So if you're ready to take that idea to the next level, make sure you head to www.launchitcommunity.com, get yourself a book, and join our free accountability calls. Now, let's get back to the episode. It's good stuff. And I know the G-Wagon thing comes up often, where, you know, if you have a vehicle that weighs over 6,000 pounds, you can deduct the full value. Or if you can say what you know, because that's what I think I know, but if you can say from your perspective that deducting a general car if it's under 6,000, but then also that big deduction of a $6,000 pound vehicle.
So everyone talks about the big deduction, the 6,000 pound, where you're able to take the 179 and the bonus depreciation in order to reduce your income, right? But what people don't realize is that if you are not in business the next year, right, or if something happens, that you may have to pay recapture. It's like the IRS isn't going to just let you take this big deduction this year because you're bonusing your depreciation. You're taking it all in the first year instead of spreading it out over the 5 years. So if you go to the next year or the next year and you don't have that vehicle anymore, they're going to recapture that depreciation and you're going to have to pay tax on it. So it may apply to you. And then it's also for vehicles that are used 100% for your business. So like if you're a cosmetologist, right? It's like, how can you justify needing a G-Wagon 100% for your business?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Right. So it's ordinary and necessary for your business. So it generally, you know, you kind of look at it. You have like a trucking, either a trucking company that purchases a truck and they use that for their business, and all the truck does is go up and down the freeway. That's a viable reason to have, you know, that type of deduction. But for the average person, it's like, how can you really justify it? But there are some people who can, and it's supposed to be 100%. It's over 50% business use. Yeah.
Okay. And we have Carmelita. Thank you for joining us, tiptoeing in. And she said not the G-Wagon. She wanted to know, how about the Honda Odyssey?
That's funny.
If it's over 6,000 pounds, if you're a daycare provider, you know, it could be a viable deduction for you, you know. but I think people need to get away from having a business. It's like you have a business, and yes, there are benefits by having the deductions, but let's not let the whole purpose of getting a business be just for deductions. I guess, you know what I mean? It's like, let's have a business, let's have a passion, let's do something that we really enjoy, and it allows us to make money, not just, oh, I'm going to go start a business doing this and I'm going to write off all these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely something that we preach, from the original podcast even over to the rebrand of the M4 show, is really, as a family, as a person, how can you take what you love?
Right.
Right? How can you take your passion, your purpose, what you truly just love to do in this world, and turn that into a business? And all the tax deduction like that, those are extra benefits, but really doing the work, right? Seeing the impact of what you're doing, helping people save money on their taxes, helping people live a healthy lifestyle. I know Carmelita is helping people buy real estate and buy dirt. Like that purpose is really the purpose of the business. So yeah, all the tax stuff extra, right?
I feel
Right.
like one way to figure out, make sure that it's something you're passionate about, is like choose something that you would do for free.
Right.
I feel like it's typically how a lot of people start off anyways. They start off doing something. Maybe they're cooking in their house, cooking for family members, health coaching friends and families, teaching folks, teaching children. And then it turns that can open doors, right? That can turn into something that you can make lucrative to support you and your family. But I agree, it should be something that you're passionate about. Starting a business for the sake of starting a business, maybe you'll be successful, but I feel like it's going to be a lot harder, because if your heart's not in it, on those rough days, you got to have something to really pull you through other than the money, because that comes and goes too.
That's a fact.
Right. And then keep in mind too that, say for instance, you have a business, and you're saying it's a deduction, but it's like, it's just all you putting money into the business just for the deduction. So it's like, is that a good use of your money? Right.
I'll answer that right now. It sure isn't.
It's like, maybe that's kind of something to evaluate. But I do support, individuals starting businesses, and getting the maximum deductions that you can have. But I one of my biggest things, and one of the things that I found in working with small business owners, is we need to be more diligent in tracking our income and expenses and having the good financial foundation. It's like knowing that your QuickBooks are, whether it's QuickBooks or Wave, or, those are the two that I prefer. Xero, there's some others that are out there, but making sure that information is intact, and that you're meeting with someone and monitoring those things, because it's like, how can you make good financial decisions if you don't have the information? And like I said, in an LLC, it's all, it flows through to your individual return. You're going to pay self-employment tax on it, but how would you know if you need to pivot if you don't have that information?
Right. And how easy is it, asking, for a friend, how easy is it to transfer or translate over from an LLC to an S corp to be able to get that 401k benefit and all the other benefits that come with being an S corp and an employee of your actual business?
So it's a matter of, if you are an LLC, just making an election, and it would be filing a form 2553. But there are some deadlines as far as when there are some deadlines as far as when you're supposed to file that. But the IRS has a lot of leniency on late filing, right? So it's like, you're supposed to file within 75 days of when you want it to start, or so either before or after, right? So if you were looking to start the first of the year, you would need to file it within 75 days of the 1st of January. So whether that's October 15th, November 15th, something like that, or going the other way, February 15th, you would just need to file within that window. But like I said, they do have late filing options where you could still go ahead and file it and have it go retroactive.
Beautiful.
So I have a question. Earlier, we kind of talked about some pros and cons, a little bit of benefits of the LLC versus the S corp. What are some of the cons I guess, because when I'm listening right now, I'm like, oh, an S corp just sounds like the way to go. Duh. Yeah. I feel like there's always something. Like, what is the maybe something that can be perceived as not as great, or a con of an S corp?
Good question.
Probably the compliance requirements, as far as like, you need to do minutes, have board meetings, things like that, because it is a corporation. So you need to run it as a corporation. The reasonable compensation, but that shouldn't be a big deal, if you're making decent money. But that's probably the biggest thing is that people say that it's just easier and less work to have an LLC, and it's basically because of the minutes.
Gotcha.
Listen, we have meetings all the time. We take
We
notes.
do. We do.
We record meetings.
We do. I feel
Listen,
like it wouldn't be that different.
listen.
We,
I see the question on
yeah.
there. You mind?
Yes. Carmelita is asking, is there a required revenue amount that you need to reach before you can change to an S corp?
Great
No,
question, Carmelita.
there
No.
is not. There is not. Some people will just start out forming an S corporation. Some people will just form an LLC, but there is no required amount. If you're looking at, from a tax saving standpoint, a lot of times the CPA would tell you that it's kind of at the $50,000 mark, but there are some companies that just start an S corporation with no income. They just want to be an S corporation. That's just how they want to go into it. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Y'all have more questions? Listen, she got the wisdom, she got the answers. Feel free to keep on asking. I'm sure if she doesn't have the answers right now, she can get back to us on another time. So you've been sitting in the hot seat for a while. We've been chunking up questions at you. We're gonna give you a slight break for a second.
My name is Sinclair, and I'm a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner who has created a program that takes a deep dive into your hormone levels and your overall metabolic health to create a highly personalized weight loss protocol that will have you lose 30 pounds, gain energy, and have you feeling so good that you go into the back of the closet and pull out that freakum dress. We all have one. So if you are ready to invest in the last weight loss program you will ever need, go to queen2queencoaching.com and book a discovery call to figure out which queen to queen package is right for you. Talk to you soon.
We're going to welcome you to our Ask Declare segment. So this is your opportunity to ask us a question about business, relationship, or we do have a health guru here, so you can also
Guru,
ask.
huh?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Go ahead and manifest that for you. So you can ask a health related question as well. Just to give you a nice little break.
Awesome. So tell me about, I'm going to ask a question of each of you. Tell me about, first of all, the Black Wall Street board game. Did I say it right?
Boom. Yes. So Black Wall Street, the board game, is our beautiful item. We have the Masterpiece Edition right here, which came out in 2021, really to pay as much honor and homage to the 100th year commemoration of the Black Wall Street Massacre. On that version in particular, you have 15 different custom commissioned art pieces that we got done from artists from all over the world, from India, from England, of course, Tulsa, Houston, LA. And they all commissioned pieces that either represented Black excellence or Black Wall Street itself. Like what was their image of what Black Wall Street is? As you're playing the board in every edition, on the board itself are real historic businesses from Greenwood, from Tulsa, right? So William Dreamland Theater, Uncle Steve's Barbecue, Madam CJ Walker Beauty Salon, right? Booker T. Washington High School, all businesses that were thriving during 1898 to 1921. So our goal, our dream was to be able to put this game into families, help teach more families about the history of Black Wall Street, but also give that little spark of, ooh, I can own a business. I can own a accounting firm. I can own a gym. I can own a hotel, right? Just be able to get like 9-year-olds, 12-year-olds, families already thinking in that wavelength. So yeah, very, very excited. We've been going since 2017. Each year it has grown very kind of incrementally,
Yep.
and except for this year, kind of a little exponential growth there. But yeah, been nice, slow, steady growth. Thanks for asking.
Yes, that's awesome. Awesome. And then the health guru.
Yes,
so, gosh, what could I ask you? I like the tip about walking because I actually had a notification on my phone today to go and do a 30-minute walk.
I'm not wearing it. My Fitbit alarms me like every hour, like, time to get some steps in, girl.
So what do you have going on? What would you recommend for someone that's been a couch potato and wanting to make some changes, to the whole thing, not just the walking, but just 2 simple tips that someone can do to change their diet and gain more energy?
I love that question. Okay. So me, just to start off, my name is Sinclair, of course, we know that part. But my nickname is the Health Nerd, and I am a health coach, a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner. So that's what I got going on. I do offer health coaching services. Particularly right now, I have a weight loss program going on. So thank you, Jair, for putting my website there, Queen to Queen Coaching. But to your question on like three quick tips or three things that someone can do if they're trying to change their diet, I always recommend starting with one meal. Can't tell you how many times I've heard or even tried myself, but I hear my friends like, I'm going to go vegan tomorrow. I'm just going to do it. I'm just like, that's not realistic. It may work for a week, right? It's going to work. You're going to, feel great. You're going to lose weight, but you're going to relapse because it's not a sustainable model to just kind of quit something cold turkey in a day. So I always recommend taking like a phased approach, like starting with breakfast is probably the easiest thing you can do in terms of like, okay, how can I just eat a healthier breakfast this week? Maybe I stop putting sugar in my coffee, or maybe I switch to a plant-based. I know I'm lactose intolerant, so I'm going to switch to a plant-based creamer. Yep. And maybe add a couple drops of stevia instead of sugar. Like those little changes can make a huge difference. And the other reason I recommend starting with breakfast is because you're going to get a lot of bang for your buck. Your first meal of the day, it is true that it's the most important. And the reason that is because you fasted for 8 hours and now your body's hungry for nutrients, and anything that you eat is going to get absorbed very quickly. So it's important to have that first meal be a nice, nutritious. If you want to shed some pounds and feel great, have it be really protein and fat rich breakfast rather than carb heavy, which is the standard American diet. It's very bagels and French toast and all that stuff. So switching it to be protein heavy with some fat is a great first step. I think also going for the quick wins. So I know that, I talk, at least previously on the True Health Forever podcast, I talked a lot about like food intolerances, and it can be very, very powerful to not only learn about your own food intolerances, but then start to play around with how you feel when you remove those for a period of time. So I know that was one of the first things that I did is I took a food sensitivity test, and then I gave myself 90 days to remove those food sensitivities, and I saw a lot of the good changes. My body was I was basically I was giving my body the permission to go ahead and heal itself. So I saw improvements in my digestion, my energy, lost weight, better sleep, all of the above. So that's also something that can be very effective. But again, cold turkey is not the great approach. So if like for a lot of people, dairy is one of those things where 75% of the human population is lactose intolerant once we get into our adult years. So for a lot of us, pulling out dairy a little bit completely is the best way to do it, so that you don't have you're not continuously bombarding your body with something that's going to cause inflammation. But that's a good way to go about it is choose one thing, right? Okay, I'm going to tackle dairy first. I'm going to try to just eat less dairy. And again, starting with breakfast, maybe you do that for 2 weeks, and then you go move to lunch, and then you move to dinner. And then next thing you know, over a course of 2 months, you've cleaned up your diet, you're going to feel better. And then you can maybe go after the next thing. Okay, maybe I'm just going to reduce my sugar intake a little bit. So that would be my second thing, is just pick one thing to start with, and then take the phased approach, start with a meal and go from there. And then my last thing, I was like, I'm struggling to find one. No, I haven't. Food journal. I'm a big advocate of keeping a food journal, and not for calories. I'm not an advocate for counting calories, but simply for I ate this, and an hour or two afterwards, I feel this way. And I did that strong for about a month. And then I kind of started doing it like spot treatments. If I know that I don't feel great, I will think back like, okay, what did I eat? Let me write that down so I can go back to this later. And, if I feel that way again, like, okay, what are some commonalities I'm seeing here? Like, okay, when I eat pasta, I feel like crap afterwards and I get really tired. Okay, that's something for me to know that maybe that's not something I should incorporate on a regular basis, or maybe I can find some healthy swaps. So yeah, keeping a food journal would be my third tip of just what am I eating and how do I feel an hour or two afterwards.
Boom.
I do have to step away for just a second, but
very good, very good. And you know what I like about it is the passion.
Right, you can feel it.
You can feel the passion. I
Oh yeah.
like it. Both of you guys, you can feel the passion. And I
Yeah.
think that's important. Too many people. So, and that kind of goes back to a business. Like, don't just start a business to start a business. Start a business because you're passionate about it. And then you'll do all the things that you need to do, because running a business is hard work,
Right.
right? Staying compliant with your taxes and keeping up with your QuickBooks and tracking all your expenses, it's time consuming. So
Oh
have
yeah.
it to be, do something that you love and not just for the tax deduction. The tax deduction is a benefit,
Mhm.
right?
And we didn't even get into customer service or customer engagement, right?
Right.
That's a whole
Right.
nother level of energy as well, dealing with maybe
Right.
shipping delays,
Mm-hmm.
returns, just emails back and
Mm-hmm.
forth. You gotta love it.
You have to love it.
Got
Yes.
to
You
love
have
it,
to love it.
right?
Love it. Yes.
Um, so putting the spotlight back on you if you're ready.
I'm
Are you
ready.
ready? Okay. So I wanna kind of learn and give folks some some practical things to walk away from this episode.
Mhm.
So in your experience or communicating with working with very wealthy people, working with people just starting out, what are some common either mistakes that you see, some small businesses making, or possibly even big businesses making when it comes to their accounting, or when it comes to the tax deductions that they are or are not taking?
I think the most common mistake that I have seen is tracking.
Mm,
So it's it's very difficult to prepare a tax return at the end of the year and having to go back and forth and keep asking this question and that question and the next question, and people are like, oh, well, I paid for this out of that account. I think I have some of this, whether it's an Adobe. So I paid for Adobe out of my personal account, and I paid for Calendly out of my other account, and I paid for this on my credit card. And, so it's like, it's important to have all of that information in one spot. So it's the tracking. Having a good system of tracking your income and expenses, making sure that all of your accounts are reconciled, that you're doing good bookkeeping, and that you are working with someone on a consistent basis other than just at year end. Like I
mhm,
said, you can't plan for year end after the year is over, and you can't pivot after the year is over. So like I said, there are ways where you can go back and you can retroactively, or you can make adjustments, have a late waiver for your S corp filing, but you can't do that in 2023 for 2022, because one of the reasons is that you're required to have a reasonable salary. So if you made $200,000, and then you want to become an S corp and you just took all that out as distributions, the IRS isn't going to like it. So
mhm,
it's tracking and having that conversation, knowing what your numbers are, and sitting down and speaking to someone on a periodic basis, not just at tax time, before tax time, quarterly, seeing if you need to make estimated tax payments. Um, just being educated, you know,
mm,
having the conversation to know if you're deducting what you should be deducting, if you're capturing all of the expenses, if there's something that you want to do, if you want to make a move, oh, I'm going to go out and I'm going to sell a house. I had a client that sold a house, a rental property, and um, they could have done like a 1031 exchange on it, so where they deferred the gain, but instead they just sold it. So
mm.
it's like, though, having a conversation with someone before you make major life decisions is important.
Yeah. So one, keep track,
Track your.
right?
Mhm.
Track your information. Two, talk to a professional.
To a professional.
And then the third one I heard was stop procrastinating to the last
Yeah,
minute
basically
and do it all year
talking
long,
talking directly to us.
That
directly
part,
to Devon
yes.
and Sinclair.
Yep.
And
Um,
you learn more as you go. You know what I mean? It's like, if you're a food journal, right? You're tracking what you're eating, you're knowing how it affects you. A budget. If you're tracking your spending, if you're making money, if you're not making money, if you're paying too much in a certain expense, if you can kind of, fine tune it. You know all of those things if you're tracking it as you're going along throughout the year. When you get to the end of the year, it's just like, even if there's a mistake, if there's something that you need to pull in, sometimes people wait 2 and 3 years before they do anything with their books. And it's like, it's time consuming and expensive to go back and recreate those financial records.
yeah.
2 or 3 years. Oh,
Yeah.
the stress that just came across my life when I heard
Mhm.
that.
it,
We
it
do
has,
have. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I said it happens. So, we want to avoid that. So
Definitely. Well, if you're on the M4 show, you're at the right place. We have Miss Carmelita asking, I don't know if you covered this while I was gone, but do you operate all over the US?
I do.
There you go.
You do. And what are those operations? What are those services now that we're here? Carmelita, you're asking great questions. You're pushing us along very well. Like I appreciate you, Carmelita. But if you can let the folks know like some of the services that you offer and how they may be able to get connected with you directly.
So I, of course, do income tax preparation for individuals and businesses, tax planning, tax strategies, tax resolution. So if you get a notice from the IRS, don't just hide it under the mattress, contact a professional. I actually, over the past year, have helped clients to avoid paying. It's over $60,000 in penalties. So
wow.
Yeah, I said I was going to start tracking it, but it's been over 60,000 in penalties. So if you get a notice from the IRS or the Franchise Tax Board, like I said, don't just ignore it. Reach out. So I help with tax resolution. Of course, I do accounting and bookkeeping as well. I teach QuickBooks. I have courses. So I've written a couple courses. One of them is understanding my taxes for individuals and small businesses. There's taxes for e-commerce businesses, understanding my taxes for stocks and options. That one as well. Yeah. So, yeah. So just a lot of it's educating.
Right.
We as a people, we're very good at starting a business, or we have a very good work ethic. It's like we have to get to the point where we just slow down and start it right, and then you can build on it. So get the foundation, and then you can just build and grow.
Oh yeah, I love that. If people are listening and they want to build and grow, and they're M4 community members, I'm gonna ask you this, and feel free to say no. But is there an M4 show discount, affiliate, something that we could do to make sure that the people listening, including Carmelita, who've been amazing and active, just get a little extra incentive for signing up?
Yes, I can definitely do that. I can send you an affiliate code.
Beautiful. All right, y'all. We'll put that inside of the show notes. So if you're watching on YouTube, it will be in the YouTube link afterwards. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, make sure you like, subscribe, of course, first, and then go ahead and head over to the m4show.com or YouTube and get that link so you can get started and build that foundation. Okay. I think we're good. Did you have any? Oh, actually, no. I had someone that sent me a direct. They said, "Ask this on the show." I was like, "Okay, let me go ahead and find that." So, you have something?
I was just going to really shout out Carmelita again. I don't know if you saw this, the message about we're both truly passionate and we benefit. We all benefit as a result. Thank you, Carmelita. As always,
Thank you.
so
Yes.
generous.
Great energy. And so I can't see Sinclair. So all those comments, I can't. I don't see. All I see is Carmelita.
See words.
I see words. I see Carmelita.
Oh, baby.
Let's see. Question was, how much can I write off as a 1099 contractor in cash donations to my own family foundation? So I know that's very, very specific. I'm gonna read it. We'll read it one more time just to give you, that extra thinking energy. How much can I write off as a 1099 contractor in cash donations to my own family foundation? And if you don't feel, comfortable answering,
like, you need to make an appointment.
That's very, very specific. I'm reading straight from the phone.
That's an interesting question, because they say it's a family foundation. So is the family foundation a nonprofit organization, a 501c3? Because that may be different. So generally, contributions that you make to a 501c3 or a nonprofit organization are tax deductible up to, so for 2021, it was 100% of your AGI. And I think for 2020, it was 60%. So usually it used to be 50%. So it's a portion of your adjusted gross income. and it has to go to, a nonprofit organization. So is that family foundation that? That would be the question. And then it would kind of depend. But the 1099 contractor, that's something that we didn't talk about, and we should. So
okay. Hey, well, great question for bringing that up. Actor versus an LLC, sole proprietor, or S corp, is it completely different?
So when you're a 1099 contractor, right? That means that you are in business for yourself, and when you get your 1099 at the end of the year, you're going to pay self-employment taxes on it. So it's like you're a business, right?
Okay.
So you need to be tracking your income and expenses, and know that you're going to have to pay in that self-employment tax. So that's where a lot of people that are 1099 contractors, they kind of mess up, because they don't realize that that's going to go on a Schedule C, and they're going to have to pay that 15.3% self-employment tax on top of the other income. So if you go ahead,
is this like Uber driving, like do it like the gig economy? Are those usually 1099
contractors? Those are 1099s contractors as well.
Okay.
So they need to be keeping track of their income and expenses. And one thing that I tell like a Uber driver is the app is going to track your miles that you're doing an app job, right? So you pick up somebody, you turn on the app. I guess it picks it up when you start driving to where you pick up the person, and then when you drop them off, it turns it off, right? But if you have to go to another location, you're still using mileage, right? So a lot of times people don't track all of that mileage. Yeah. And that makes a difference, because that's 59 cents or 56 cents per mile that you're not deducting. That's going to go against that business income.
Oh yeah, and I do know a few folks that are drivers, whether it's for Uber Eats, other stuff, and they don't take any deductions, right? So they have the income and they're paying the extra taxes, and then they're not doing. One more time.
They're not taking any deductions.
They didn't take any deductions.
Well, they need a different CPA.
What are they doing? They need to come to me.
Right, come talk to me. So, I mean, if there are people out there that didn't take deductions, is it too late to, I guess, do an updated return?
You can go back and do an amended return.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So you have up to 3 years to do an amended return.
There you go. So if you're listening and you're in the gig economy, whether that's your full-time gig or you do that in addition to your 9 to 5, and you did not take tax deductions, specifically in mileage, car repair, car maintenance, the things that are needed and necessary for that gig.
Not mileage and car repairs, because it's the greater of the two.
Either one.
So it's the greater of the two. A lot of times mileage is more beneficial. But just keeping track of what it is that you're doing. Like I said, if it's ordinary and necessary for your business, you should be tracking it. If you use your cell phone for your business, a portion of your cell phone bill is going to be a business deduction, right? People that have a business in their home and they're a sole proprietor, that can be a portion, that could be a business deduction. So you just need to make sure that you're keeping track of all of these things. And when you go to start a business, just have a conversation, sit down and have a consultation. This is what I'm doing. And then you set out what you should be tracking. And then you kind of meet, every few months and make sure that you're on the right track.
Yes, ma'am. This is a good one. Yes. I like this episode.
Learned a lot.
Yeah,
he's been our tax guy. So
I have.
I've learned so much today.
Listen,
you've been the tax.
What do you need? What do you need? Here you go. Have fun.
Maybe I need to review that tax return. So
listen, you do. You do. This is a fact. But yeah, we're definitely going to stay in contact, continue to learn from you. And possibly do some of those services. So we appreciate you coming on the M4 show today. We're going to get into some updates. And after the updates, would love to have you either give your own updates or leave people with some nuggets of wisdom. Okay. So you can kind of start to marinate on what you want to hit folks with or leave them with as they're leaving the show.
Awesome. We do have Miss Carmelita who's going to be waiting for that link. She said she's happy we're going to do that. She loves her website and is waiting for the link. So that's good. We got you one person.
We got one. Cool. We appreciate you. Turner. Over to you first.
Yes. So for me, we still got our 90-day weight loss formula beta program. So it's on the discount right now because you're gonna be on the exclusive, right? If you want to help me give your opinion, help me form this program into the best weight loss program it can be, now's the time to do it because it's 50% off of its regular price that it will be in a matter of, weeks, months, something like that. So definitely get in right now. If you are looking to lose up to 30 pounds in 90 days, you're gonna feel so good. It's my phrase. If you've been listening, you're gonna feel so good. You're gonna go to the back of the closet. You're gonna pull out that dress. We all have that dress, that freakum dress. Maybe you haven't worn it a little bit, haven't fitted into it, or not felt confident enough. That's okay. By the end of this program, you're gonna feel so good. You're gonna pull it out. You're gonna wear it, and you're gonna feel confident in it. You're gonna kill it. And then we also still have our free weight loss accountability group. So if you're not ready for the program yet, but you know you know what you need to do and you just need help sticking to it, this weight loss accountability group is the place for you. We hold each other accountable. We got people dropping pounds by the weeks, and it's just a nice sisterhood. Almost, it's kind of like that. We're forming. We're about to go on a hike.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I'm excited to see what this is.
I'm not invited to.
No, no, you're not. But yes, that's also available. And all of this is available at queencoaching.com. That's where you can take advantage of the weight loss program and the weight loss accountability group.
Boom, there you go. Go ahead and change your life, y'all. On this side, we of course have the launchitcommunity.com where every Friday we're meeting with entrepreneurs, whether you have an idea already and you want to get it to the next level and actually form that business, or you have a business but you need help with social media, you need help with your customer avatar, maybe some marketing, some brand identity, you can go ahead and tap in with us. So go to launchitcommunity.com. The link to join the free every Friday at 7 a.m. accountability call is there. We also have the book available for you, the 7 steps to launch your business, and that is available on our website or on Amazon. More exciting, right? The launch it, that stuff is cool, right? Come through. It's free, 7 a.m. We there. It's good stuff. But the thing that I'm most excited about, Queen,
yes,
and I think Carmelita's gonna like this too,
I think so,
is we are taking people to Tulsa. Yeah. So last year was our first time. Hey, Miss Marjorie. Hey, listen,
That's
we going.
cool.
Last year was our first year going to Black Wall Street in person. We got to meet some of the last living survivors. We got to take a tour, of course, support all the businesses there. And it was just an amazing experience for us. So we want to be able to gift that to other families, other educators, other people. So today you can go to playblackwallstreet.com. Right there on the home screen, it will have a visit Greenwood in 2022. You can click that to purchase your tickets to come with us. You, your family, if it's just you, you're an educator, you're a person, you're a leader, and you want to come roll through with us and learn, go to playblackwallstreet.com and get your ticket to the Greenwood Adventure. We are heading out July 29th, and we are coming back or departing August 1st. So it's just a nice, beautiful, and powerful weekend. Yes, ma'am. I'm very excited for that.
I can tell.
I'm literally,
y'all, this last year was
Really
pretty amazing.
was.
She said group trip. Yes.
Yes, we're going. Come through. Literally amazing. Carmelita, you know who lives out in Tulsa. I'm gonna need us to connect with that person who lives out there for networking. You know who I'm talking about. Let's make that happen.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
Thank you. We greatly appreciate you. Thank you.
I love it.
Cool. Passing it over to our esteemed guest to go ahead and close us out with, her personal updates, or Marjorie, if you just have some wisdom, some tips you just want to leave them with as we close out this episode.
So, I should have a bunch of updates. I'm regrouping, but one thing that I do want to offer, and I will put this, I'll send you a link to it. One of my biggest things is like I mentioned, is business owners tracking, right? So I mentioned my course that I have. It's the e-commerce for taxes for e-commerce and small businesses and online businesses. And I have a package in there, and it includes 1 hour of QuickBooks training. So the total price for the package, I want to say it's like $347 when you get all of them. So it's like it's the course, Then there's an upgrade to the course, and then an overview of me doing QuickBooks, going through an account. And then there's the course, the overview, and then an hour of me training you on QuickBooks. So the total price of that is $347. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you guys a code for
oh. We got so excited for this code that you're about to give us. We are excited for this code. We use QuickBooks or have just started to use QuickBooks, so this is going to be great training for us. Go ahead, hit them with the code.
So I'll send it to you. It'll be gosh, I had it written down. The M4 show.
Perfect.
And it'll be for 50% off. So yeah, but I'm passionate about people, huh?
I need to take that course.
I that's what I find is it's the tracking, it's the education, it's the sitting down and knowing what your numbers mean to you and how all these different platforms are coming into your numbers. It's so that you can be better prepared at tax season. So that's what I'll say. The tracking. Having a conversation, investing in an hour or two of your CPA's time is going to benefit you so much, because that's you having a chance to just sit down and ask your questions, make sure that you're on the right track, see if there are any ways that you can save money. I was talking to someone came to my house to do some work yesterday, and she was asking me what I did, and we were talking about it, and she goes, "Oh my goodness, the best thing that happened to me was us passing things over to our CPA and forming a corporation." She's like, "We saved like $35,000 in taxes that year." And she's like, "How much more could we have saved if we would have done that?" Yeah, previously. Yeah.
Listen.
So the self-employment taxes, they add up. So you want to, like I said, have your numbers, have the conversation, invest some time. You should just put in your budget. Meet with your CPA once a quarter.
Yeah.
Just to have an overview, make sure you're doing things right, make sure that you're on the right track. It's worth it. You'll save more in taxes than the investment. It's an investment.
Yep.
We all get caught up in the revenue generating activities, but you need to know how to save your money and make sure that you're doing things correctly. You have to have that good foundation. So
that's a fact. There you go. Y'all heard it. Go to Marjorie L. McPike, CPA.com to go ahead and get that course. And again, if you're watching or listening, we'll go ahead and put the link inside of the show notes as well, so you can click right there and get your beautiful discount. Thank you so much for joining us. Can we have you back again?
Of course.
Beautiful.
Of course.
There's a lot of things that we touched on a high level that I think it would be so good to get nitty-gritty down.
Nitty-gritty down to it. Yes.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed 100%. AKA the queen knows that I'm very quick to just do something really quickly. So like the LLC to S Corp situation, I'm like, oh yeah, let's go ahead and do that conversion right now. But maybe we should wait a little bit.
Maybe we should meet with someone.
Maybe we should meet with Ms. Marjorie and go over our numbers before we make that selection.
Before you do that, right? Yeah. You guys, thank you again for having me. Thank you for all that you're doing. I am going to purchase the game, of course. I'm going to purchase the game.
Thank you.
Don't be surprised if you see me in some of your challenges.
Love it.
I was telling you, it's like I sit here and I meet with people, and then it's like I have all these different things that I'm doing because I just think it's so awesome. I'm a lot older than I look, and sometimes I feel as though I'm ahead of my time, but I just love seeing this generation, you guys doing what you're doing. It's awesome. So keep it up.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's a lot of love, a lot of good energy. We appreciate that.
Definitely.
Yes.
All right, y'all. Well, thank y'all for tuning in to the M4 show. Make sure you take action on everything that you heard today. Not everything. Take action on at least one thing that you heard today, right? Whether it's going to the website, downloading QuickBooks, contacting a CPA, take some sort of action that takes you one step closer to that end goal. Okay. But thank you for tuning in to the M4 show. My name is Devon Truvel, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game.
And I'm Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd.
This should be the last week that you have to see this TH4 outro. It was almost done, but there was a few things that we needed to edit, so I sent it back, and it's almost there. But you're going to see this TH4 outro for the last time, so it will be legendary. But for the sake of the legendary transition, we'll say the TH4 outro one last time.
Tear.
Make sure y'all stay healthy, Make sure y'all stay mentally wealthy. And of course, make sure y'all stay true. Thank you for supporting the M4 show and our mission to increase the wealth of Black families.
If you received any value from this episode, any value at all, any, do us a favor and give us a like and subscribe on YouTube and Apple, Spotify, anything, all of them, all of them, wherever you're listening. Go ahead and like and subscribe.
And after you like and subscribe, make sure you send this episode to at least one family that you really want to see win. We'll catch y'all next time. Peace.